I'm going to attempt to read a story that I wrote back in August of 2007, a story called Fair Science. And I do apologize for the position that I'm in. I'm going to try to read this. I've never done this before. It'll be more for audio purposes than for visual because I have to kind of sit in this position. It's the only position where I get some relief from the nerve damage that I deal with in my legs. But the story is called Fair Science. Ironically, back in 2007, after I wrote this story, someone was telling me how potato can be tapped into and give off a charge, like a form of energy. And then I found an article that I've attached on this next page to part of the stuff that I wrote. And this article was regarding nature's power to create and give power, that can be useful to us. Resources like wind and that cost nothing to give, but gives a thrust powerful and strong enough to run things that we need. It's no secret nowadays. There's even a thing on algae and how algae can be used somehow for fuel and stuff like that. So I found all that after I wrote this story, but this story ties into all of that. It's no secret of the power of solar energy. People are putting it on top of their buildings, on top of their homes, and it creates enough energy so that they not only can use it, but the power company has to pay them to tap into it and use it. I hope this recording works out. This is like my third attempt trying to do it, and the audio is not always good, and I have to adjust sometimes. But anyway, with no further ado, or nothing else to do, I'm going to try to read it. I hope that you enjoy it and that it's clear enough for you to hear and enjoy. Again, there's not going to be anything visually going on. It's mainly just reading a story. Me reading a bedtime story to you. Think of it that way. Okay, here we go. Fair Science. Dr. Raymond Ruscha sat down at his little TV tray next to his enormous dining room table. He took the first sip of the first cup of coffee for the day, and he called his inspiration juice. It was so hot and bitter that he could only drink it in small sips, trying to cool it with his lips before entering his mouth entirely. With each small taste, he let out a ah, partially because it was burning his tongue, and partially because he truly did love the taste. Before him were 3 file folders. He rubbed the sand from his eyes and wiped it on his pajama pants, and drove his fingers through his wildly out-of-control hair. Finally, he yawned louder than loud. His kitchen staff heard him, and smiles were exchanged as the head chef said, "And now, the start of yet another exciting day." The doctor's outward expression was just a little louder today than other days. The maids upstairs making his bed and preparing the bathrooms were not used to hearing such a roar and wondered if everything was okay. Mr. Myth, the head butler, was standing at the bottom of the spiral staircase, and he looked up through the center, making eye contact with the staff and assuring them that all is well. Mr. Ruscha was the most well-known scientist in the history of the world. He was also known as the strangest scientist in world history. He was completely bonkers. Sure, he was brilliant, originally innovative, and genius, but totally off his rocker, unpredictable, and even unbearably manic at times, to say the least. His business of the day involved reviewing the 3 files set before him. The first file he opened and jumped back repulsively. Ugh, he expressed as he looked at the photo of a little girl, pigtails, braces, and dressed in a typical school uniform. He closed his eyes, reached for his coffee, and took another sip. Guy next door's cutting his grass. I don't know if you can hear it or if it's going to drown out the audio, but we'll see. May end up having to do a fourth take, and I don't know how to edit, so I'm just doing this with my phone. So maybe I should stop there because it's a good place to stop, kind of. Anyway, I can test it and see how it turned out. Probably need to go inside because it's going to rain out here anyway. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye then. Alrighty then.